Let's talk about what's going on with Jordan Peterson, man. This is Jordan Peterson News Day. Daily Wire, the new streaming service, Daily Wire Plus, signed Jordan Peterson to a multi-year deal. I was laughing all night. So this news came out basically during our show yesterday. Yeah. And then when I found out, I started laughing. I'm like, this is amazing. Yeah. CNN Plus couldn't last 3 weeks. They were supposed to implode within a month, and then even a few days early, they couldn't even fail on time. And watching their just collapse. Then CNN had this announcement that like their daytime host was just like, I'm quitting. I'm tired of being tired. I don't want to do this anymore. And then Daily Wire is expanding rapidly. They're signing new shows. They're launching new shows. They're bringing in Dennis Prager and Jordan Peterson. Mm-hmm. In April, they had 600,000 subscribers. Now they have 890,000 subscribers. And so it's just a good day. You know what I say? I was saying this earlier. I'm not motivated by money. I'm not doing this because I want to buy a Ferrari, a Lambo, and build a mansion or anything like that. No, I would love nothing more than to walk out of my hut into a field of fresh fruit and farm them and smile upon a grateful universe, knowing that we have snapped out of existence the corporate press and the establishment garbage, manipulative trash. I want to see the liars called out. I want to see accountability from the establishment. The Daily Wire is doing that. Good for them. We want to do that too. That's what I want to do. Every single day. So when I see the Daily Wire pulling this off and I see CNN failing, I know that we are winning.
It's a big turn in the tide, man. That's a extremely established turn in the momentum of, if you want to call it culture war, like the sense of the. I mean, they've not only have they increased their subscriber base by like 20-30% in like 3 months. Yeah. Which was massive.
What was it? 600,000 to 900,000?
Yep.
That's a 50% increase. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. This is really, really monumental. That's from one documentary. That's from Matt's I Am a Mostly What Is a Woman? That's a big part of it.
Is that where that came from?
And I think Gina Carano, of course, the Terror on the Prairie came out. Gina's just a superstar right now. I mean, she's a big part of the momentum of that and deserves the notoriety she's getting.
Let's just do some math real quick. $12 per month, 300,000 people per month.
It's like 1.7 million.
No, it's 3.6.
3.6 million per month.
Per month, added on top of their existing 600,000. So they're hitting like I think the math is $10.6 million per month. Per month.
That's just in subscriptions too.
And that's not counting their ad revenue.
Yeah.
Man, I'm
merchandise,
jealous.
all that stuff. Yeah.
We got to get 300 employees. 890,000 website, but it's a snowball rolling downhill. They've been doing this for 7-8 years now,
right?
So they're really, really taking off, and man, it just feels good, man. Sitting back and just seeing their success. It was really funny because when the news broke, I tweeted out saying "Holy ish," and then I have these lefty journalists being like "haha, lol" and laughing, and I'm just like, bro, you're like on the verge of being unemployed. What are you laughing about? You're gonna go manage an AMC, like. What are you doing?
I got question now. Is Jordan an American citizen? Is he going to get his American citizenship after this? Like he's
Canadian. I don't know.
Moving to Tennessee. Is he going to go to Nashville? He's probably going to, or is he just keeping on? I don't know.
I don't think he has to be an American citizen to do a contract with.
No, but does he get to become one now? I know he's fed up with the Canadian government. I mean, he said some really. He's one of Justin Trudeau's probably most accurate, harshest critics, and justifiably so.
I don't know if you know this, but I'm pretty sure you can just buy citizenship. Like if you're rich.
At that point, yeah. At that point, and then you reach a certain point where it makes sense to renounce your citizenship for tax purposes. Right. So I'm not sure where he falls in that spectrum on whether it makes sense for him to become a citizen or to renounce it.
Well, are Canadian taxes higher or lower than the U.S.?
The income tax, well, now with the increase.
I think our taxes might be higher.
I think that at the higher level, the income tax is higher. Where Canada gets you isn't necessarily the income tax being higher. And in fact, their corporate tax for the larger corporations is lower. A lot of American companies like Burger King was a famous one that moved to being a Canadian company for the corporate tax purpose. It's the property taxes and the sales taxes. It's the middle class that they're hitting with the real taxes. The rich aren't the ones getting it.
Also, the censorship tax, which is unquantifiable. It's kind of like Einstein fleeing Nazi Germany before it got bad. Like he saw the writing on the wall and was like, I'm out.
They've also had the not allowed to leave your province unless you're vaccinated tax that they finally lifted earlier this month. So, if you're talking about overall burden, then it goes beyond property taxes. But.
I saw a picture from a Canadian airport and they were like, there's like 4-hour waits or 6-hour waits at the airport and it's just bags, this huge line. Like, what is he putting in there? It's all Trudeau's fault, what he's putting these people through.
Yep.
I just don't believe these people are happy. I just can't imagine they're happy living in Canada.
Yeah.
All the Canadian people I know are like trying to come to America. I'm not even kidding though.
Yeah.
And then it was funny. I was hanging out with some Canadian friends and I was ragging on Canada and they were getting really mad. They were like, "You Americans are so arrogant." And I'm like, "You're trying so hard to come here, dude." And they're like, "That's still Americans are so arrogant." And I'm like, "Yeah." And you want to be here, dude.
Yeah.
Canada's getting bad.
I agree that American arrogance is grotesque because we really need to live the ideals of the Constitution. You know, it's not fair to like rest on our laurels because they worked so hard and intelligently to build that awesome document. And
yeah, I don't know. I think this country is gonna implode. Like I didn't want to lead with this story, but I was talking about the DOD earlier, saying they're going to keep performing abortions regardless of whether the states ban them.
Right.
And I'm like, what happens if a woman, let's say you've got an active service personnel who lives in Texas, where they've just banned abortion, and she goes to a military base to get an abortion, and they have a civilian doctor contracting on the military base to perform abortions.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know about Texas, but I know there are laws that say that if you leave to pursue an abortion or aid and abet someone getting an abortion, you can be criminally charged. So I'm feeling like in Texas, if you live in the state and then go to federal jurisdiction, the federal government's like, "Don't worry, you can't be prosecuted for what we do here. It's legal." When you come back, they'll be like, "No, we have a law that says it doesn't matter where you go to do it. It's illegal." So I think about stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, I think the U.S. is kind of about to explode, you know? But you know, I say that just to provide a little like juxtaposition to this good news about the culture war, because I don't think it means that the end is nigh. It just means we're in for a conflict,
a revolution.
Or something.
What I mean, from the libertarian take, what we're hoping for is to move towards peaceful decentralization, and the first step in that is, and this is something I'm working on with You Or the Power, is local, county, and state level nullification of bad laws higher up the food chain that they don't like.
Like the NFA.
Like the NFA.
Yeah.
Missouri became a Second Amendment sanctuary state.
And I think New Hampshire just did.
Yes. And what the ATF has already said, and Border Patrol had to say this with the immigration sanctuary states, and I mean, we know that they've had to do this with all the cannabis sanctuary states, that without the local authorities doing the like over 90% of the heavy lifting in the actual enforcement of these laws, it's functionally impossible for them to be able to do it.
Love to see it.
Good. That's good.
Well, California started it. They wanted to do all the immigration stuff, and now we're going to see all the two-way stuff.
And the cannabis stuff.
And the cannabis
immigration
stuff.
and cannabis. Okay, great. Well, now we're doing it for everything.
That's right.
And the beauty of that is not just the real-world implications of being able to nullify bad state and federal policy at the local level. It also empowers the citizen to know that their vote isn't just cast into the ether. They can take over their city, their county, and eventually their state and get rid of all the garbage that they don't have the wherewithal to stop at Capitol Hill. They can just stop it from being effectively enforced where they live.
Where we are right now in Maryland, there are, I think it's 3 counties signed letters saying they wanted to secede from Maryland to join West Virginia. It's never going to happen, but the county we're in actually declared a two-way sanctuary. It doesn't mean a whole lot because the state didn't.
Yeah.
And so you still got to get clearance from the state police to make sure, because the laws make no sense here for guns. But up in New Hampshire, the governor just signed a bill that said they're no longer going to cooperate with the feds. And people need to understand the feds don't have the ability to police this country.
It's not even close.
The states have to do it for them. So the interesting thing is when I'm reading about what was happening with the DOD basically saying like, we're going to keep doing abortions regardless of what the state law is, I'm like, can federal agents be arrested for breaking state laws? Do you know the answer to that question?
I mean, the states can certainly arrest them for it. It's then going to have to work its way through adjudication to see if that's upheld.
The simple answer is, well, obviously, of course, right? If an FBI agent is caught like robbing a bank, of course he's going to get charged. But what I mean is, if in their duties as federal officers, they break state law, can the state arrest them?
I think you have a duty to do it because, I mean, the union as it stands is just a contract amongst the states. The only reason the federal government even exists is because we're letting it exist per our contract with the Constitution.
Well, they say that federal, so this is the interesting thing. They say it's a supremacy clause, things like that. Yeah. The federal government's laws supersede the state. So if California says weed's legal and the feds say no, it's not, the feds can go into California and enforce their law. But what about the inverse? What if the feds say a cop carrying a high-capacity magazine, as it's defined by these blue states, they say, no, police aren't allowed to carry those either now. And the feds go in with Glock 17s. Can the state say, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you're doing, you broke the law?
I think
that's what I can't find.
I think you've predicted the next one of the next big contentious things to be handled at the federal court level, because that is likely to happen as the gap between what the federal government's priorities and rules are and what the states' priorities and rules are. That's going to lead to conflict, and it's not happening in Washington, D.C. It's not happening on federal land. It's happening on state property, in state jurisdictions. That's who's likely to get arrested. We know the feds will arrest someone at the state level, in a Texas second.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.